Hi, welcome to Math with Karen. Let's make fractions simple. Today we're going to be talking about simplifying fractions. Simplifying fractions just means we're trying to find an easier, more understandable fraction that we could use in place of the fraction that we have. So, not all fractions can be simplified because they're in their simplest form, but we're going to take some easy ones today to help us find the simplest form. So, for example, right here I have 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. And we learned in earlier videos, these are unit fractions, and we put them together, then we're going to have 3/6. So we have the fraction 3/6. If I was to ask you to put this in simplest form, we are going to try to find a way to group them together so that they are easier to use. So when you look at this, you could probably already visualize, well, that looks like 1/2 of a circle. And yes, you would be correct. 3/6 is equivalent to 1/2. So if I was to put 1/2 up here, you can see that it is the same amount. So we can say that 3/6 in its simplest form is 1/2. Now, when you go to your simplest form, what you're going to want to do is divide. So you look at your numerator and your denominator, and if you can divide both the numerator and denominator by the same number other than 1, then you can make it into a simpler form. Let's look at it like this. What if we had 5/10? Well, 5 and 10 both can be divided by a 5. So we would, whatever we do to the top, we do to the bottom. And 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we could group them together to make a simpler fraction. Let's do another one. Let's do 6/8. Well, when I look at this, I see 2 even numbers, and I know that all numbers can be divided by 2. All even numbers can be divided by 2, so I know I can divide both of these by 2 at this point. But I want to see if there a larger number that I could divide both of them by. And when I think about 6 and 8 and all of their factors, there's really not another one that works for both of these. So I'm going to divide both of these by 2. And that is going to give me 3/4. And 3/4, of course, is in simplest form. Couple of quick ways that you could find simplest form, especially for 1/2, is if your numerator is half of your denominator, then that is going to be equal to 1/2. So if I was to say, let's do a tricky one here, 7/14, well, I know 7 is half of 14, so automatically I know that one in simplest form is going to be 1/2. So simplest form is when you're taking your fraction and you're making it into simpler numbers. You're not changing the value, you're not changing the amount that you have, you're just taking the equivalent fraction and you're finding the easiest one to use. All right, guys, next time we're going to be talking about fractions again. So, see you there.